Neanderthals are named after the German valley near Düsseldorf where the first Neanderthal fossils were discovered in 1856. Neanderthals survived the Ice Age and were the first human species to adapt to cold climates. For a period of time, Neanderthals overlapped with humans and even had mated with them. Neanderthals and closely related Denisovan are our closest extinct relatives. Neanderthals are thought to have evolved in Europe roughly 400,000 to 500,000 years ago. They lived in parts of Europe, Central Asia and Middle East for up to 300,000 years until they died out or were assimilated by anatomically modern humans around 30,000 years ago. They lived both in the interglacial and the glacial periods. After an ice age that covered half of Europe in glaciers, the interglacial period began around 130,000 years ago with a climate that was actually warmer than today's. Then, 85,000 years ago the last ice age began, ending 11,500 years ago. Neanderthal vanished from the fossil record around the time modern humans arrived in Europe. The oldest Neanderthal remains, believed to be between 230,000 and 300,000 years old, come from the bottom of a 160-foot shaft in Sierra de Atapuerca in northern Spain. The remains cannot be precisely dated, so scientists have based their age estimate because their faces have pre-Neanderthal features. There is some debate as to whether they are Neanderthals or archaic Homo sapiens or Homo heidelbergensis. They were short-limbed, thick-bodied, adapted for cold weather like people in northern climates such as Lapps and Eskimos. Heavy bones, thick muscles, strong, capable of endurance. Judging by their massive arm and leg bones, and general skeletal structure, the strongest Neanderthal individuals could probably lift weights of half a ton or more. Their enormous rib cages encased large lungs capable of holding large amounts of oxygen needed for high levels of activity. They had wide shoulders and hips and generally had a body that was more suited for short powerful bursts of strength rather than endurance running. Sturdy, heavily muscled limb bones evolved as a response to a demanding lifestyle. Large muscles were positioned in such a way that they provided maximum strength. Neanderthals were so strong, some scientists say, they could have butchered animals by simply tearing them from limb to limb. Neanderthals and early modern humans lived at a time when ice ages were shaping the climate and landscape of the places they lived in Europe and elsewhere. Ice ages are periods of time when huge continental glaciers, sheets of ice, crept down from the Arctic and covered much of North America and Europe. The Pleistocene Age, which lasted from 1 million, or 500,000, to 10,000 years ago, is regarded as the period of ice ages, even though the first ice age glaciers began appearing around 2 million years ago and large glaciers had covered land masses for millions of years before that. Neanderthals and humans split 550,000 and 765,000 years ago. Belonged to the same genus, Homo, and inhabited the same geographic areas in Western Asia for 30,000 to 50,000 years. Genetic evidence indicate while they interbred with non-African modern humans, they ultimately became distinct branches of the human family tree, separate species. What killed off the Neanderthals? It's a big debate, and now a study says that no matter what the answer, they were doomed anyway. Our close evolutionary cousins enjoyed a long run in Europe and Asia. But they disappeared about 40,000 years ago after modern humans showed up from Africa. The search for an explanation has produced many theories including climate change, epidemics, or inability to compete with the modern humans, who may have had some mental or cultural edge.